Here we have JuiceDefender. It is by the same makers of Juice Plotter. They are on the right by the company Droid, which I've also done a demo for, so you're going to want to check that out. We'll go ahead and get JuiceDefender, and when you first download the app, it's going to have a setup, which is going to just basically go through, check your connectivity for networks, Wi-Fi, basically just check everything that it needs to make sure that it can do what it wants to do. You're just going to want to go ahead and let it do that, and then when it finishes, it's going to bring you to the screen right here where you can enable it. You just go ahead and hit enabled. This is the advanced screen. It may have the regular screen, but you can just go ahead to the advanced and it'll show you all of this. This is with Ultimate Juice, so it has the extended options. Some of the things that Ultimate Juice is going to give you is the scheduling, the night options, the peak options right here, the screen options, and then the location options. So I'll go ahead and go through what each of these means. So we have first the data, and what that's going to do is basically allow JuiceDefender to turn on and off your data to save a lot of battery life. Then we have 3G. So basically, whereas data will turn off all your data networks, the 3G will just turn off your 3G network based on your settings, or if you have a poor 3G connection, it'll turn that off and go on to 2G. We have the Wi-Fi. Saying the Wi-Fi sound like that video between the Evo and the iPhone. But we have Wi-Fi, and that will, you can see here it says keep data 3G Wi-Fi. It's just going to add Wi-Fi onto the network so that it can turn off to save battery life. One of the things that's been added, you can see right here, is the CPU. If I go ahead and click on that, it's going to give me the option to edit the speed of the processor for different situations. So if I go ahead and drag this one on the right, you can see that right now on the very right it's set to overclock to 1.22 gigahertz. But I can go ahead and drag that over here to the left, and that is going to decrease that. I'll go ahead and put it on the default 998. And then we see the min of 128 megahertz. It's not going to let it go below that. And then the 768 is showing the minimum, or sorry, the maximum for when the screen is off. So I can go ahead and lower that all the way down here. I usually put it at around 384, I think is the setting. Yeah, 384. And so there, when the screen is off, if I put in the setting with screen, as I said with Ultimate Juice, you get the screen setting. If I put those together, then you can save a bunch of battery life when the screen is off. So I'll just go ahead and show you each of these. That is just going to enable when it's brightened on there. Same thing with the 3G and the Wi-Fi. And then on schedule, what you can do here is schedule the amount of time and the difference in time for when it checks for data. So what JuiceDefender is going to do is turn off these networks. Right now you see it has 1 minute every 15 minutes. That means it's going to keep data off except for 1 minute every 15 minutes. So it can come back on to get your messages, email, whatnot. But the thing to remember is it's not going to turn off your cell network, so you're still going to get all your texts, unless of course you're using Google Voice, because then that is going to come over data, so you're going to that's going to be limited to every 15 minutes. But this scroll right here is going to allow you to change that. Then we have the night setting. If we go to that, then we can change the time that we want data to not be used. So there you have, right now I have it set to 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. It's not going to use any data, so it's not going to do that 1 minute every 15 minutes action. I can just leave it off. Then we got battery. I can change it so that it doesn't turn on data when it's under a certain amount, so I have it set at 10%. And then on this one we have traffic. You can change it so that it won't disable the data when it's above a certain amount of data. So if you're streaming music or if you're doing a download, it won't disable it until that is below the or until that stops downloading. So it'll keep that on for a certain amount of time while it's got a certain bandwidth. The next one we have is the peak. This is something that comes with Ultimate Juice. If we go ahead and turn that on, which I'm not going to because I don't use it, but it allows you to keep data enabled for certain time periods. So say if you're at work and you absolutely need data, you always need to have your email coming to you, you can turn that on. For apps, you can have it never turn off data or never enable data if you have a certain app in the foreground or in the notification bar. So you can just click configure apps, and then your list of apps will come up and you can just click on those to change those settings. We'll go ahead and go back. Screen, like I said before, if you click on that, if you enable that, it will allow you to control the data turning on and off when the screen is off. And then you also have a setting for only after unlock. So if you want to check the time and you just turn on your screen but you don't unlock it, then that won't trigger it to enable data, so you don't have to worry about that wasting battery. And then we have location. So the cool thing about this is if you have Wi-Fi access points, from the GPS it will know when you're near a certain Wi-Fi connection, one that's known that you have in your list. And when you're near that Wi-Fi connection, then it will only enable Wi-Fi at that point. So that's something really useful to save on battery life. So I think that goes for all the settings. Like I said, it saves a ton of battery life. You can see right now I have 8% battery life on an Evo. I know they made a big deal about Evos getting horrible battery life. Some people getting around 5 to 6 hours. Well, I'll go ahead and go back and show you what I'm at right now. Refresh this, and you can see I'm at 17 hours and 7 minutes with 8% battery life, and I use my phone pretty heavily. I have probably 15 different accounts that are always syncing, and with JuiceDefender, I'm able to sort of limit that and control everything and get amazing battery life even if I'm using a ton of different applications. So if you don't have JuiceDefender, definitely try it out, and if you like it, get Ultimate Juice, the add-on for even more options.